Welcome back to another episode of Binge Warmers. We're your hosts, Steven and Will. What did we watch the other day?
Godzilla -1. That was very aggressive. I don't know why I yelled.
I mean,
at
he
you.
was very aggressive.
Dude,
What
this
a phenomenal
Woo!
film.
Okay, right off the bat, really, really good.
Yeah.
We also
from
want to tell
start
you,
to finish.
make sure to like and subscribe.
Oh, yeah. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification
Hit the
bell.
We're trying to do better as YouTubers.
Yeah.
This is also on Spotify, so if you don't watch us on YouTube, go follow us on the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, Godzilla -1, one of the probably the best film of the year. I don't know if there's anything topping it for me.
Blue Beetle.
You really think Blue Beetle's better than this movie? I know he made a joke right out of the theater. You're like, well, Blue Beetle, man, it was so good.
Didn't Guardians 3 come out this year?
Oh God, Guardians 3, man. The emotion, honestly, is beat for beat.
Yeah.
I think Guardians a little more.
The Marvels came out this year.
Now that is a joke. I didn't even see the Marvels. I'm so over that whole thing. Like
Yeah.
I wish it was still maybe one of the movies will reinvigorate it for me.
Yeah.
Maybe like Avengers 17 will
Maybe
invigorate it for
Kamala
me.
Khan.
Kamala. I do like that character.
Yes.
Maybe I like the actress playing the character. I don't know that I love the character.
I think, though, arguably, probably the best film we've seen all year. Now, Aquaman has not come out yet.
That's fair, but like, do we think Aquaman's gonna beat this?
I don't think so.
Honestly, it's got potential. Like they're about to kill that baby. They're about to kill they're about to kill Amber Heard. You know what I mean?
We don't like babies on this channel.
No. We love babies, obviously, but the raw emotion of someone killing your baby, dude.
Oh wait, what?
And if
I
they
thought
go
we were going
there,
back to Godzilla.
no, I think because that's a big thing. Like on Twitter, everyone's all excited for the baby to die. And
Is the baby gonna die?
maybe the baby does in the comics? Allegedly, I haven't read
really?
the comics,
I didn't know. Yeah,
so I maybe spoiled that.
Who
for
read
you.
the Aquaman comics?
Yeah,
let's
who's
be honest.
reading those? What's up with that? Anyway, but back to Godzilla. We really enjoyed it. I think I cried. Your girlfriend cried.
Yeah.
You were sort of
Laughing at y'all for crying.
You were indignant. Yeah.
I
Is
did
that the
watch.
right word?
No, I don't think so. But we'll roll with it.
That's okay.
I don't know if it's again. John Wick 4 came out this year too. John Wick 4, Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
John Wick, I don't think compares to Godzilla. You like how I'm rolling
Who
forward?
wins, John Wick or Godzilla?
Does John Wick have a pencil?
It's close. They call him the Baba Yaga.
Baba Yaga. No, nothing stops Godzilla, honestly. We're having this conversation of like, would so-and-so beat so-and-so? And I'm like, nothing beats Godzilla. Like, you can't, like, Goku could not beat Godzilla. I don't think Goku could beat him. That's almost a better fight,
What about
though.
planet-destroying Hulk?
I don't know. These are very because Godzilla can get as big as a planet sometimes in different continuities and stuff. If this is death battle rules and we're picking the best one out of like the most powerful of all, then probably Godzilla. Because I think he transcends.
Yeah, and you know what? He's got that thing on him.
He's got a dumpy. Is that what you're saying?
He's cheeked up on a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, I mean he looks great in this, and I think that there's a lot of callbacks to like past designs.
Oh yeah,
him.
the face.
The face is sort of like animalistic. He's also got his arms are oftentimes bent.
Yeah. The walk is totally old 1950s.
Yeah, and I love how
walk.
slow he is.
Yes.
Like I know the American ones have kind of made him quicker, and there's been some controversy over the recent trailer that showed Godzilla like sprinting and with his arms, like he was pumping his arms.
I also saw like people were like, "Man, why are y'all complaining about this Godzilla or that Godzilla? They're all great. Why can't y'all just understand we're eating good this year?
That's what I'm saying.
We've got Monarch. We've got 2 Godzilla films coming out.
That's
like
what I'm saying.
it's a great day to be a Godzilla fan.
It's almost too good because we went to the theater and I talked to my roommate. He's like, "Yeah, I don't know." He's like, I thought this was like he had pink fire and the monkey was in it and stuff and I was like, no, that's like the next one.
Yeah,
you know, this was Japanese. It wasn't.
Yeah,
but even through all of that, I think this movie's still doing very well and still getting a lot of like praise and critics are loving it.
So, side note on it being Japanese, so we went and watched it. It had subtitles.
Yeah.
So I'm talking to my buddy, me and him fangirl over the American Godzilla movies. I'm just gonna call it that for simplicity. And I told him, he said, "Well, is this one good?" I said, "Yeah, but Retmo, you're gonna have to realize it's in Japanese. You'll have to read subtitles." You go, "Oh, well, at least it has subtitles, right? Like there were subtitles." Yeah, you can't just go in there and watch a Japanese movie. I don't know what's going on. And he goes, "Well, don't you watch anime?" And I said, "Yes." And he goes, "Well, do they subtitle that?" I'm like, "Yes, they sub anime." He was like, "Oh, I just assumed you watch Japanese voice things and then
you just didn't know what was going on."
Yeah, he said you just understood it through the actions they took. And I was like, "What are you talking about?" I was talking about it on the way over here because that's when we were recording this episode. So, Retmo, you're an idiot.
I saw someone talking about Ben 10 has like Korean comics or something. Like there's like a weird kind of offset of Korean comics. and there's no English translation. So people who want to read it are just like, well, I think this is what's going on.
I just like looking at the pretty pictures.
He's turned into Diamond Head in that one.
But yeah, so Godzilla himself,
his laser
armor,
breath
yes.
too.
Because it's not in the American one. It's a breath.
It's like atomic breath.
Yeah,
and he doesn't really have like a limit. Maybe he does, but they don't ever mention that.
No, he just. I mean, in the first one, he's just blowing through that dude's mouth.
I mean, in Godzilla vs Kong, he uses enough of it to burrow through the center of the earth.
Yeah,
so probably a lot.
Yeah.
If there's a limit, it's a high limit.
It's a very high limit.
But this one, he's got more of like they call it heat breath specifically. I don't know if it's supposed to be like a different interpretation of it. It obviously is, but it's like an atomic bomb.
Yeah, it's like a laser that ends in a point and then.
Yeah, I think if you got caught in the laser, it'd probably be bad for you too.
Yeah, just a little bit.
And dude, like just everything in this movie is so impactful.
Yes.
Like everything Godzilla does, like his little scales coming out.
Oh.
Like it unlocks through his tail. It's like
it
his
was
chi coming out.
Oh.
It was insane. And then like you really feel it. Like everything gets like a bit quieter or like the the dramatic tension will build
right before the storm.
And then it's like and then it's like a total atom bomb. Like he shoots like it's a mushroom cloud.
Yes, every single time. Total devastation.
But yeah, he's a swimming boy. He likes to swim. He'd be swimming.
Yeah, that's how they originally at the opening of the movie, the main character's on an island getting his plane repaired. Not really, he was faking it, but that's when you first see Godzilla. I love that. In the first 5 minutes, you see Godzilla.
It's also we rarely ever see depowered Godzilla.
Yeah, he was only like 20 feet tall, maybe. Which sounds like 20 feet tall. That's huge, but no. When you watch the rest of this movie,
it's less than like 100 feet tall.
Yeah,
like,
and they literally say like he's like 20,000 tons.
Yeah, and like you really feel it. Like when he walks down the street buckles and bends and breaks.
Yeah,
like the asphalt comes up, and he's just like. I don't know. He seems unbothered for most of it. He's just like, making my way downtown.
Yeah, just walking.
And like, he's destructive, but it's almost like just a mad dog or something. It's not like he's got a purpose behind it.
No, not at all.
And that was Godzilla's original intention, was just like, this is how destructive humanity can be. Like he's sort of a filter, a
he
mirror.
Is the monument to all your sins.
Much like Master Chief.
Much like the Grave Mind in Halo 2.
But he's sort of a mirror. Like he shows like the destruction of atomic, power.
Like he is the atom bomb incarnate. Like if you were to see him,
he just destroys.
Life.
And like it's funny that Godzilla becomes a hero afterwards, because that original concept is so far away from heroics.
Oh yeah,
heroicism.
I don't think.
Heroics is what I meant to say.
And it's so funny, too, because we're like, maybe he just hates Japanese people. Because they do a line, and he's going straight to Tokyo. And he's like, I'm going to beat him at the source.
Well, it's like, just right off the bat, they're like, oh, he's heading to Tokyo. Like, even in the movie, they're like, yeah, he's going to head to Tokyo. And I think your girlfriend laughed, and I was like, oh, yeah, he's always heading to Tokyo.
Yeah, he just really hates those guys.
I guess so. Maybe it's like the most densely populated or something.
It's really like Fairly Odd Parents with Dinkelberg and the dad. Like, Dinkelberg is Tokyo just existing. And the dad is Godzilla, like, Dinkelberg.
He's knocking down a building or two. It doesn't matter what he's doing.
Yeah, he's like, howdy, neighbor.
Oh, wow. How tall is Godzilla in -1? I'm super curious about this. 50 meters.
Wow.
Which I don't know how tall.
A meter is almost like, there's like 3 feet. It's a little bit more than a yard, so about 3 feet.
50.
So you do 50 times 3, 150 feet tall.
Okay, 150.
Roundabout.
Meters,
it's like slightly longer than a yard.
I wasn't giving him enough credit. He was bigger than I thought he was.
So he could be like 160 with all of it rounded up.
How do you stop that in the first place?
Yeah.
When he's very early on, very young, before I guess he has the heat breath or the atomic regeneration or any of that stuff, he's just a big dinosaur, dinosaur-like creature, sea creature. And he brings up, I think he's a sea creature in the first place, because he brings up
Speaking of which,
fish.
Before we get too much in it, we're going to start putting this in the title as well, but spoilers for this movie.
Oh, yeah.
I figured since we're not just doing Ben 10 anymore, we need to start saying there will be spoilers on our channel.
Yeah, we haven't done heavy spoilers yet.
Yeah, but there will be spoilers in this. So if you want to come back after you've watched the movie, or if you don't care,
plot of the film.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about the plot in a little bit.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, like it feels like you can't kill him even when he's like 20 feet tall or however tall.
Yeah, like because he can heal, which we talk about that in a little bit. But
well, even before that, like when he's like the very beginning.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Even if he had shot him, then he probably wouldn't have killed him, because he would have just come back.
Man, and we'll talk about the characters.
And that
in the
haunts
plot
him
more.
a lot. And I'm like, really, dude, think about it. You just saw that with the mine. Mm-hmm. You couldn't have done anything there.
Because he says I mean, that's before he gets radiated though. Like, what if he could take him out with his plane's gun or whatever?
How do you know he wasn't radiated yet? He's a giant lizard.
We see him get radiated. right?
No, you see him try to drop a nuke on him.
Yeah.
But he's already radiated. There ain't no natural creature that looks like that.
Well, a dinosaur-like creature. I don't know. He's a sea creature. I don't know.
No, he's straight up already radiated.
We could theorize, I guess, but he doesn't use any heat breath or anything, right?
Well, he didn't have to.
I guess he didn't have to. Yeah. No. He was just like, I mean, there was no resistance. They were shooting him, but at the same time, he might not have attacked him if the first guy didn't shoot him. I'm sure he would have, but there's no guarantee he would have done it.
Yeah.
They did it before.
The guy was
started
like, why are you shooting?
Yeah. Anyway, but Godzilla, man, he's got this like whenever he does the heat breath, like his his face is like on fire.
Afterwards, like
he's all charred up. It's just like it destroys.
I like that little bit of detail.
It's like a Wolverine detail. It's like this really hurts to do it, but I
do it anyway.
I regenerate, so it doesn't matter.
Yes.
I just deal with the pain. And Godzilla is so pissed off and angry at everybody for whatever reason.
He's just a rage-induced animal. He has no higher level of thinking.
He's so cool. I love the way he looks too.
Yeah, he's sick. I thought that I wouldn't like his look because I knew that they were trying to go back to pay homage to like the yeah, and I was like I don't know because I really like the new Godzilla look, but watching him last night was just like phenomenal.
It was, and like you bring him back a little bit because like
bring him back to his roots.
He was so heavy, like they're on the tugboat, they're swimming, and he's like gaining on him. But he's so heavy and so slow, like they could potentially outrun him in a tugboat. You know what I mean?
Which is insane.
And there's a moment where like they're running down a street at one point to get away from him, and he's just like he's so big and massive, but he's just like coming towards them, and he's just stepping on groups of people at a time.
Yeah.
But it's like if y'all ran quick enough, you might could get away from him. I don't know.
But he's clearing distance every time he picks his foot up, though. You know, what I mean?
Because he's a big boy.
Yeah. So
tall boy.
He's slow, but he's covering ground.
Yeah. Whoever thought to put him up against Charles Barkley in the basketball game was like genius because they're both pretty tall, you know.
I think Shaq could body him.
Shaq could probably dunk on him, actually, yeah. But it'd be close. I mean, it's not, not nothing against Godzilla here. But
yeah, Godzilla's got some moves.
Yeah, for sure.
He'd be balling.
Well, he's slow, though. He'd be a bit power forward, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, super cool design. I'm glad we both really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Let's talk characters.
Characters, bro.
We follow...
this is honestly what made the movie.
Yes.
Because in Godzilla movies, you don't get good characters normally.
Yeah.
It's always just like, I'm military guy and I'm scientist guy.
Yeah.
And, well, we think
this is a natural disaster. What's going on?
Yeah, we think we can maybe shoot a big enough gun at Godzilla and stop him. You know, so it's nice to see something with character and with like hearts.
What I really like about the American Godzillas is I don't care about the people. I just care about them enough to give us exposition and lore on the monsters.
Yeah,
when they tell us how they came about, where they live, and all that stuff, I'm like, yeah, give me that shit. You know what I mean? I want that lore.
I need that lore. I don't care about who you are. Yeah.
But you don't. I need it like cocaine.
Yeah,
you know,
drip feed me.
Yeah, like cocaina.
Cocaina, the lore.
Yes, I need the lore.
The ancient. There was a war. Okay,
hit me with it.
Yeah, Godzilla and King Kong had like an ancient race war. That's cool.
Let's hear it. Can I see it? You got drawings? You know?
You got cave paintings like that one time.
Yeah, I want to hear it all.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm really excited about the Monarch show. I don't know anything.
It's all
about
lore,
it.
I guess.
I hope it is.
And I kind of hope the characters are good. This really raises Godzilla to a new level.
Yes,
like a new standard almost.
Like I said, we're eating good.
We're eating good,
dude. Don't
almost
the
too
crumpet.
good. It's a crumpet. Is that gonna be our sign off?
I hope so.
Let's sign off with that this time.
We could. But yeah, so the story follows the main character. What's his name?
See, I was gonna look up.
That's
characters.
the problem. It's Japanese, obviously, so the names are kind of hard to remember. It's like Shika. It's not Shikamaru.
I think his first name was.
That's the thing too. They call him a lot by the last name instead of the first name. You know?
That's always a problem with Japanese stuff in general.
Yeah.
Like anime.
But man, can they make some movies?
Because when you say
anime,
when you say Monkey D. Luffy, I think his name's Monkey.
Yeah, but everyone
that's
calls
his
him
last
Luffy.
name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, what's his name?
Koichi Shikishima.
Shikishima is what they called him a lot. So it
I
follows
remember
him.
Koichi because of JoJo's Part 4.
Oh, really?
That's how big of a weeb I am.
Shikishima. I like Shikishima.
Shikishima. And Noriko is his girlfriend / love interest.
Yeah. So we don't have to get super in depth, but essentially he was a kamikaze pilot.
Yeah.
He got cold feet.
This takes place right after World War II.
Yeah, right at the end of it. So he was still going to see action, but he was like, I'm scared. I don't want to actually die. Yeah. Spoiler. So
and I don't know too much about Japanese history. Like, if you're a kamikaze pilot, do you have to die no matter what?
Die, yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's the whole theme of the movie
yeah,
too.
But they're told honor. You know, that's an honor.
And everyone, like, whenever he tells people he's like a failed kamikaze pilot, they all look at him a little like,
like
they're judging him.
Yeah,
you know?
you're a disgrace because you're not supposed to be alive.
It's crazy.
It is, and we'll touch on that later at the end of the movie because they start valuing life. Well, the people do, not the government.
And it's almost like he figures out to value his own life.
Yes,
like
exactly.
it's less about the honor.
Such a good story in this.
Honestly, yeah, it's such a like I never thought of this before. It's so inventive. It's so like fresh.
So essentially, he detours. He says, "Oh, my plane's wrong. There's nothing wrong with this plane." But he's like, "I'm going to stop here at this island. I'm going to get it fixed." So there's a bunch of engineers there. They're like, "Nothing's wrong, but we'll keep it, look at it overnight, and then have you go back up in the morning." That night, they get attacked by Godzilla.
Out of nowhere, bro.
Out of nowhere.
They see the deep sea fish. I like that detail. It's like
love that.
It's
Every
like
time
a
you
coming
see
of
those
Godzilla.
fish, you know. Yeah, it's like a harbinger.
Yeah.
So they see him, and they're like, "Hey, man, you got to get in that ship of yours. You got to shoot him. You got to get in that plane, shoot him with your big gun."
Big gun. He's like, I don't think it'll do anything. And the lead engineer guy's like, it can kill anything.
Yeah, it's a 20 millimeter gun that kills anything. He goes, okay. So he gets in the ship and he gets terrified, messed up plane.
He has like he's almost like shell shocked, like he's shaking a lot.
And
you know,
he can't do it. And then one of the people accidentally shoots. Godzilla goes crazy. Kills
Rampage.
all of them except for one. His name was Yama something. Yama.
Yama. No, it was
Yamachata.
Tachibana. Yeah.
And him and
he was like a club foot afterwards. Like
yes, because he was still wounded a little bit.
And I think I was kind of thinking like, oh, they're gonna do the thing where like no one believes him, then he tries to do it.
Yeah.
But no, everyone, you know, everyone. I guess no, they don't really say. They think it's Americans that come in and do it.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's it's probably for the better. They say even in the movie, like Japan's so good at information control.
Yes.
Like we're not gonna tell anybody about the monster.
Yeah.
This has a lot of Jaws in it. I've never seen Jaws.
Yeah.
But like
I've seen the Meg, which is comparable.
No, not really at all.
Well, you know.
Maybe comparable to like the fourth or fifth Jaws.
No, I think Jason Statham's The Meg is definitely like Jaws.
No, I would say not. Piece of cinema versus schlock is sort of a difference there. But there's a lot of Jaws in this. Like the mayor in Jaws, he wants to keep Amity Island open because it's a summer like getaway spot for people in New England or wherever. And he's like, if we close the beach, that's going to be a lot of money that we don't get anytime other than the summer. So I don't care that a shark killed a couple people. You're keeping the beaches open.
Gotcha.
And then what happens? The shark comes and kills a bunch of people. So
So the guy blames him. Tachibana blames him. He's like, they're dead because of you.
And he was already confronting him about not killing himself as a kamikaze pilot. So now it's like double duty, you know.
Yeah.
And the guy like takes all these photos of the dead people and he has them in his wallet and he just kind of carries it with him. It's like a physical representation of his weight.
The whole movie he says the same line, the war is not over.
This is my war is not over.
And it's such a powerful statement. And it carries him through the whole film because once he goes back to the mainland, he meets this girl.
Noriko.
Yes, who found a child. The mom was dead. The mom gave the child and said, "Hey, take care of my child. I'm dead."
It's one of those like it sounds like a little like soap opera when you say it, but like it doesn't feel that way.
No.
It feels authentic.
Well, because he goes back to a ruined Japan.
It's
Everything's
like
rubble.
I mean, it's like post-apocalyptic Japan.
Yeah, because
almost.
they were bombed straight for like weeks,
Air raids.
and then they got
and everyone he knows is dead. Like his neighbor survived for some reason. Like,
but none of her family did.
Sumiko, she survives, but like her children die. And then he's like, "Have you seen my parents?" Because his parents were like, "You need to survive." Like I know he's a kamikaze, but his dad's like, "You need to survive." Yeah. He gives him a little note that says that. And so he comes back and he's like, you told me to survive, and now you're not even alive. So what's even the point? Like he's all downtrodden. He's like eating some food, and this lady throws a baby at him because she stole some food and was running away from cops.
So they end up getting together, and not together, but they live together.
They're living together. He's like, he takes responsibility for the baby at that point. Like he's like, well, I can't leave her in a dirty place like that. So he goes and finds the lady, and then she moves in. She falls asleep, and he's like, oh crap, I got to deal with this.
Yeah,
and it's sort of a sweet, like overall, he's a sweet.
Yeah,
it's a sweet situation.
It's part of his redemption. He's like, I couldn't do what I could back then. Let me do this now. So, they're looking for work and stuff, and he gets a job cutting old mines for the war. They're like, hey, all these mines are out there. Y'all got to get rid of them. So he joins a crew, and they start doing that. You're introducing a few more characters.
And, these characters, too, are fun.
They're great characters.
That's, even the side characters are fun.
Yeah, they take nothing. Like, I'm never like, can you stop talking so I can see Godzilla or the main character?
There's, a scientist guy who's very, methodical, and he's very, smart. And he's the one who comes up with the plan to, stop him later. but he's a bigwig in the army, and then he's helping him cut mines. And there's the captain of the boat who's sort of like gruff and sort of he's sort of a jerk,
loud, fatherly kind of guy.
Exactly. And then there's like a child who hadn't gotten the opportunity to go to the war,
like a teenage boy,
and he's kind of like, man, I wish I was in the war. He's kind of like posturing.
Like, he said that one. He's like, I wish it would have lasted longer. And Shikishima was like, don't ever say that.
He like gets in his face like, don't you don't mean that. You don't mean that.
You say that right now. You say you don't mean it,
man. And we can just talk about the performances too. Like all of the performances are amazing.
Oh yes, Noriko's performance.
Yeah, like you really feel like this dude has got some terrible trauma, baggage, just holding on to him.
Yeah,
like he wants to die, but he's got this like connection that he can't break right now.
So over the next couple of years, he's getting money. They clean up the little hovel of a shack and all this other stuff. He's building, and at one point, this is where you kind of see some of his dilemma. It's like 2 or 3 years later, and his crew and them, they're all back at his place eating, and Noriko's like serving them and stuff, and the teenage guy is like, trying to hit on her and stuff. And like, hey, don't talk to her like that. That's his wife kind of thing. And he's like, oh no, we're not married. And like, what? He's like, no, we're not married. And he won't explain to them why he won't get married. But you learn later it's because he doesn't think he deserves love. He doesn't think he deserves companionship. He doesn't think he deserves anything.
Like it falls into his lap. Yes. And there's a couple points where when he first sees Godzilla, he comes back, he gets like they explode a mine too close to him or something.
Right.
And he comes back and he's just like, he's like freaked out and he's all upset, and she's just like you could have died. Like, what, you cannot die. We got to take care of this kid and stuff. Akiko is her name.
Mm-hmm. Akiko is the kid's name.
Yeah. And then so they're like, he's freaking out, and then he goes like, am I allowed to live?
Yeah.
Like he's like, am I allowed to? He's just like thinking to himself, am I allowed to live and like have a good life?
Yeah. Like he won't even accept that. Like the daughter tries to call him dad all the time, and he doesn't think he's worthy of that.
He's like, no, I'm not your dad.
I'm just someone who takes care of you.
But he does kind of slip into that later.
Yeah. Well, like you can tell the whole time he wants that.
Yeah.
He wants her to be his daughter.
Yeah.
He wants her to be his wife, but he doesn't think he deserves it, which is it's so powerful. Like this movie is great, guys.
Yeah. Honestly, like the characters are like these are the best characters I've seen all year. Like I really believe that, unless Guardians 3 was better. But I'm kind of leaning towards this because it was so fresh. Like Guardians felt a little stale in the fact that like we're still in the MCU, we're still doing superhero stuff.
What's great too is drawing comparison to, and we love the American Godzillas. They're great movies.
But they are big action blockbusters, you know what I mean?
Every time I see a human in one of those movies, I'm like, oh my God, get off the
Shut
screen.
Shut the hell up, Millie Bobby Brown.
Like,
who the hell cares?
I'm like, yo, you in the front, down. We're trying to see that guy's leg.
There's big monster, like Hulk. Big monster.
Yeah. And here, you forget about Godzilla at some points, and it's good.
No, it would be a good movie just as a drama, like a J drama.
Yeah,
I don't like that term.
J drama, what is that?
Like they say, Korean drama is a K drama or like a K pop.
I've never heard that in my life.
Oh, okay, well you're just dumb. So
yeah, I am. But yeah, so like Godzilla is obviously the movie.
Yeah.
But you're not always like, where is he? I want to see him.
It's almost like he haunts the film more than he's in it.
Yeah, it's like a boogeyman.
Yeah, like he's in it, but like you feel his presence more.
Yeah. And I think that works.
Yeah,
because of how little he's in it. Every time you see him.
Yeah,
it's going down.
He's more like a reflection of like war in this one. Like I mean, it's still I still think it's the atomic stuff a little bit, but just war in general, how it can like haunt you.
It's always looming.
Yeah, give you baggage, and like there's all this talk about like, oh, the Americans can't help us because there's it's like politics. Like there's a giant monster about to kill 1 million people, and we can't. The U.S. can't come help because of politics.
Yeah, they say essentially that the USSR will see any type of movement in that area as an act of war against them by the U.S. So the U.S. can't.
Such a weird time in our history. It was,
because it's a power struggle. Everyone's trying to get back on top of the world again after the vacuum. But it is crazy that America's like, unfortunately, because Douglas MacArthur literally says, y'all need to wall up because this thing's coming and it's coming hard. So get ready.
And so so they figure out Godzilla's coming. They try to nuke it, I guess. Or I thought that.
Yeah, there was a little scene where the Americans drop a nuke.
Yeah, I thought that was like maybe they were like testing nukes. I thought they either were testing nukes and Godzilla accidentally got hit.
No, I think they were trying to kill him.
They were probably trying to kill him, and then he just got radiated, and that was like, oops.
I think he was already radiated.
Big whoops.
In my opinion,
it could be. I mean, either
and he just got more radiated.
Again, like this small detail doesn't really ruin the film either.
Yeah, it's just you're wrong, and I need you to know that.
Okay,
you know.
But you know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter exactly what happened. Like he's worse after the war, essentially.
Yeah.
And I heard somewhere that -1 the title is like it's because Japan's already at level 0 because the war devastated so badly.
Yes.
And so Godzilla comes and it devastates even further. So it's a negative. It's -1 at that point. Which I don't know if that's true or not, but it's a
nice way to look at it.
I love that thing, that sentiment.
So the next time we see Godzilla, the next time our main character sees him, they're out on the ship and they go, "What are we doing out here? There's no mines." And they said, "Oh no,
the doc is just like, yeah, we're supposed to be looking for whatever blew up the ship."
yeah." And the guy's like, "That's Godzilla. What are you talking about?" And he explains the situation, like, maybe not. And he's like, "We need to go."
And then he sees like some deep sea fish that had risen up, and that's also a nice like foreshadow.
Yeah,
because that's part of the plan to like kill him later.
Well, the old gruff dad character is like, "Oh, we can do it. We have to," because they have to stall Godzilla so that the big ship can get there and take him out. And he goes, "No, we're the last line of defense. We have to do it. Like it's only us."
So like nothing else can, and they're not gonna like tell anyone to evacuate because that's not how Japan rolls.
Yeah, and
like,
so
we're just giving them time essentially.
Yeah, and he's like, "No, we have to do it." And then he sees Godzilla and he goes, "No."
He's like, "Let's get out of here.
There is no way we fight that." So they start driving away.
That's an impactful scene right there.
Because he's giving this big speech, if it's not us, who, and all this stuff. And then he looks at the size of Godzilla and he's like, we can't even stall him. There's no point for us being here.
And like he's so big, it's almost hard to try. Like they kind of shoot him a little bit, and they're like the guy, the Shikishima, is like ineffective. Like
ineffective.
Yeah, not gonna work. And they shoot they throw a little mine out, a reused mine, by the way,
and blow it up.
And they're like, "Oh yeah, Japan loves to reuse stuff." Like that was like they're all just crapping on the government the whole time.
One of the main themes in this movie is no one in Japan likes their government right now, which we can relate to a little.
I mean, especially because they were in the losing part of a war.
Yeah.
Like one of the engineers at the beginning, he's like, "I don't blame you for not killing yourself. Like we all saw what was happening."
Yeah. So the second one was very interesting. There was two mines. The second one, he said, "Get it in his mouth, inside. Maybe it'll hurt him there."
The first one, they put it close to his head and doesn't really do anything.
No, he just keeps on going.
But his mouth, he's open and he's like up above the water now, and his mouth is open.
It's like
and
a giant gator. It's terrifying.
That's another Jaws thing that when they put the oxygen tank in his mouth and shoot it.
Oh,
that kills Jaws in the movie though. Oh. So Godzilla actually is better than Jaws.
So he would kill Jaws, unfortunately.
He's probably like 1,000,000 times bigger than Jaws too.
Well, the Megs with Jason
Statham. The Meg would be a closer fight. You're right.
Anyway, so they put the mine in his mouth and they detonate it, and Godzilla kills over. Dead is what you assume.
Yeah, it like blows off the top of his mouth and like
half his head
to his head. Yeah, and then just like quickly, it was like it all regenerates. Back up. It's insane, and it's the first turning point of like, oh shit, this is bad. Yeah, how do you stop that?
Yeah.
So they just like they continue going, and I guess the American ship shows up and starts shooting at him.
Well, no, it was a Japanese ship.
It was Japanese. Yeah. So the Japanese ship shows up,
and you think, dang, we got him because
it's a big ship.
The guns they are shooting on this guy, and he's getting hit. He's
he falls over in the water, and he's also too buoyant to like sink.
Yeah,
because so he like kind of stands up at parts.
Yeah,
and he's very thick. Like his bottom half is thick.
Up. They're his flotation devices.
Yeah, bro.
Every now and then, if he
got them floaties on him,
Every now and then, if he starts to sink, he just lets out a little toot.
Little poop.
Yep, pops him back up. So Godzilla gets pissed, naturally, as you would if you got shot by a massive gun. He goes over there and starts attacking the ship.
And it's like right away. Yeah. So he like 2 or 3 swipes, like most of the ship's defenses are down.
So they shoot him point blank in the face, and he falls back down. And that's when it's so cool, dude. The water gets super blue.
You really feel it. Like it's so...
And you're like, what is that sound? What's going on? And then you just see this laser cut through the ship and then nuclear bomb.
It's insanity, dude. They like blows up... It didn't blow up their wooden tugboat ship, but it like sends them back and I think it knocks them out and stuff.
And it's like, well, from the mine too, Shikishima got injured.
That's right. Like they were really close to Godzilla. Like Godzilla was gaining on them, and then so the landmine didn't work, so he had to shoot it.
Yeah.
And then it blew closer to the ship.
Yeah. And it's just... We talk about it a lot. The audios in this movie and the music was just A1. Like it was on point. And
when that Godzilla classic theme popped back up, it was like lightning in my veins. I got so like I got chills.
Yeah.
I was literally getting goosebumps in the seats.
Him roaring too was this.
And it was a different roar, but it still had elements of the you can't get rid of the classic yell all the way.
So good. So he destroys the massive ship and then just goes away. He says, "I'm done now. I'll come back later."
Yeah, I guess he's satisfied. I don't know.
Yeah. So they go back to the mainland, and they're like, no one's allowed to know.
Yeah.
So they
can't tell anybody. People. And then this is kind of where we see like he's like Noriko's sort of trying to give Shikishima the benefit of the doubt. She's like, okay, he doesn't like me. Like I need to leave the house, even though she wants to marry him. He wants to marry her, but it's that war thing. Like he's just stuck in his own war. And so he's like, okay, like he comes home one day and she's like, yeah, I got a job somewhere in like an office job in a different city, Gina or something.
Ginza.
Ginza, thank you.
Because she's starting, at this point, she's like, look, I'm going to move on.
Yep.
I've been waiting on you for 3 years. You're not doing anything. I need to move on with my life. I need to be self-sufficient. So she's going to go get a job. And Ginza's been fully rebuilt since the war. Or it wasn't hit as hard in the war.
Something. Well, I think she says like they rebuilt really quickly.
Yeah.
But then she goes on her first day to work, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And then he gets a bulletin or he hears the radio or something. It's like,
A massive creature.
Yeah, they're like, giant sea monster's coming toward. This is not a hoax. And it's like, sounds very silly, but he's like, oh, shit.
He knows exactly what it is.
Ginza. So he like sprints and he tries to, he leaves the house and everything. And then Godzilla, man. This next scene is like,
it's insane.
It is one of the most like devastating movie sequences.
Yeah.
Like you just like, there's no hope for
Absolute
anybody.
destruction.
It's all
It's
unprepared.
on par with like Invincible.
Yeah,
The Chicago part.
This must have been how people felt in 1954 watching a man in a rubber suit tear down like cardboard buildings.
It was that terrifying.
But like at the time, it might have been pretty effective. Now it's sort of silly, but like seeing that in the theater, like
with like no effort, he turned around at one point and an entire skyscraper was gone.
yeah, he just like you could just feel it. Like she's on the train going.
He's called Aunt Fanny. You couldn't call him Aunt Booty.
That's another part. Like they're all running away from him, and something behind him triggers him. So he just turns around, and his tail like wipes out like half the people that are running away from him.
And it's because we were always like they were running straight, just like go right or left. And after we said that, he literally turned and swept everything.
Running a zigzag pattern.
Yeah, like a crocodile.
He's a crocodile. He doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't know.
So it's just utter destruction. There's some news people up on a roof like reporting it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
He walks and just part of his toe hits the base of that one,
and the whole building,
the whole thing just falls
collapses.
Down. So yeah,
And it's so and the music kicks up when he's coming, and it's just like
so good.
And all the people are like, oh, his head is like right, like they're filming him on the top of the building. His head is right there. This isn't good. We should probably like what are you gonna do? Like, there's nothing you can do at that moment. Like you're dead. Like you're already dead.
Yeah, and then so we find Noriko, and she's on a train, and he had already thrown one train. It stops there, it's dead in its tracks.
It's like
it's right there in front of it.
It hits the tracks before him.
And he just picks up her train. Everyone else falls out. She's able to grab a pole, and she goes, "I got to get out of here." So she drops into the water. She's dazed, just walking through the streets. People are running around her, and she's
sort of shell shocked too.
And so this is the only part that's really kind of like suspend your disbelief.
Well, after the fact, I mean, I think it works in this movie just because it's like, it's
you
the
have
character
to
stuff. Yeah.
But Shikishima finds them and says, "Hey, we need to go. We need to move." So they start running.
Which is funny too, because like, duh, like you didn't need to be there to tell her to run.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
So they're running, and you see all these tanks line up, just shooting the shit out of Godzilla.
Doesn't
and
do
he
a
does
single
not
thing.
like it. But that's when we start seeing the tail thing when he's getting ready for his heat breath, is what they call it, and just decimates.
And so they all stop because Godzilla turned around and he did his...
They just watched it.
Yeah, well, I mean, because what are you gonna do?
Yeah,
like, there's a mushroom cloud like not that far from you.
Yeah.
And then they're kind of standing by an alley, and I'm like, y'all should go in the alley.
Yeah, and
Get in the alley.
Noriko, and right before it happens, she pushes Shikishima into the alley, and you just see her get blown away.
Just like the force of
and
the
I look over at my
bomb,
girlfriend, and she is bawling her eyes out.
And then because you're kind of thinking like, it might not have killed her, but just shot her back. And then like the next scene is like a funeral for her.
Yeah, and you're like, oh,
okay,
damn,
sorry.
Yeah, and it's impactful. It's heavy. It's so good.
It's also like it's sort of the irony too, because like he's the only one living because she pushed him in the thing.
Right.
Like there's a couple times in the movie where he's the only survivor of a bunch of situations.
Yeah.
He was meant to die.
Yeah.
Like he's the
and
kamikaze
that's
pilot.
another part of the grief is in that moment he was supposed to die.
Yeah.
And then she dies instead.
pushed
He
him away.
just can't die, and that's his whole goal was to die.
He just wants to die.
You just see this theme, and it's never spoken. It's just the theme of the movie that you just feel.
That's the thing. Like if it was an American movie or a Hollywood movie, it would be some
sad.
character being like, "Yeah, we don't like John doesn't like didn't like having a family. He thinks he's too good for it because he thinks he should be dead, so he won't allow himself to like you don't
need that exposition.
There's a little bit like he kind of tells her a little bit.
Yeah, but you can tell through the motions, their actions.
Yeah, it's nothing like overstated. Like it doesn't get like stale hearing it,
And guys, I know we're probably gushing, but just phenomenal
it's amazing.
storytelling.
It's amazing. So then he goes back. Like the rest of the story, then at that point is they have a story. They have a citizen-led movement led by Doc and a couple of the military guys that aren't representing the military at the moment.
They're retired or
something like Navy captains or
veterans and stuff,
admiral something. But they go and they're listening to this plan, and it's very, very unique. I've never heard anything like this.
I've never heard this plan before.
So I thought it was very cool. Like they plan to like wrap him up with a bunch of Freon tanks and shoot him down to the bottom of a big trench, and that's gonna like
they
pressurize
said if that
him.
doesn't kill him, those flotation devices will automatically inflate and rapidly shoot them back to the sky, back to the surface.
Just like what he did with the fishes, the deep sea fishes. Like he brings them, he pressurizes the fish because he's so big. Like everything comes with him,
Yeah, and that's a good way to do it because no one can survive. Your body is supposed to take time. Like as a diver, you're supposed to go up a level, wait, go up a level, wait. You're not meant to do it that fast. So they're like, if that doesn't kill him, we'll bring him all the way back up. That's gotta kill him.
And then Shikishima's like, this is too much. I'm gonna go do something else. And then like they're like, please come on, help us. And so he gets the bright idea, like, I need to get a plane together.
To lure him out into the trench.
Because Godzilla does, like, he doesn't like things around him. Like, he'll bite at anything. He's like a cat playing with a toy. Like, he's just going to get after whatever's kind of close to him. Yeah, at the end of the day, he's
just a wild animal. Super juiced, but an animal at
just
the end of the day.
Force of just a
force
wild,
of nature.
Yeah, just a wild animal, bro.
So
just a wild animal, bro.
But he tells them, it's like...
I mean, I was in Florida. I saw a couple things like that, bro. They got things. They got things bigger than that down in Florida, man.
Mr. Theo.
I mean, I had this dude. We call him Godzilla Greg, man. He was
CGI.
He was basically.
I don't know what kind of guy he was. I don't know his name.
Yeah. Anyway,
so he tells them, "Oh, it's to lure Godzilla back out."
He fully intends to kill himself.
Yeah,
he's going to ram a bomb into Godzilla's mouth.
Yeah,
which thank God he planned to do it because it wouldn't have really worked unless he'd done that.
So he's like, I need one guy. I need a ninja because they find this cool backwards-looking plane. Essentially, if you see it flying, it literally looks like a backwards plane.
It was meant to like the propellers in the back and like the tails in the front, and it's meant to it was meant for like island fight, like dog fights whenever fighting came to Japan. Like
fighting bomber jets.
Yeah, exactly. So like
it's a really cool plane, but they're like, hey, it's run down. We need an engineer. Anyone could have worked on it. He said, It needed to be Tachibana. Yeah.
Because he was also fighting the same war. You know what I mean? Like he even tells him, he's like, your war's not over either.
A lot younger in that picture.
Yeah. Well, he looks very disheveled in the movie after war and devastation.
So he hunts down Tachibana and he tells him, look.
He like writes some letters and pisses him off. He's like, all those people died. It was your fault.
Yeah.
And he knew that would piss him off and get him to come find him.
So he shows up, decks him a few times, but then he's like, look, can I explain to you what's happening? And he tells him everything. He goes, look, I plan to die. He's like, you should.
Yeah, this is all your fault. Yeah.
So he's like, okay, well, help me make that happen. Take out this thing. Don't tell anybody. Take this out. Add a bomb. Add this. Add that. Help me take out Godzilla. He's like, okay, fine. So
like 4 or 5 different like huge bombs aboard.
And this is where we get to the really cool moment for just the Japanese people as a whole. They're sitting there and they go, you need to go. He's going to show up tomorrow. Y'all go to your family, go to your loved ones. And he goes, why? You think we're not going to make it tomorrow?
Like to prepare? Like,
and
you think we're done?
Yeah, and he's like, no, this country has not valued human life for too long. Bad supply chains, the kamikazes, the seppuku.
It's one of the better. Yeah, it's like a reverse Die Hard, like or reverse not Die Hard. What's the William Wallace one?
Oh, we will not go quietly into the night. It's Independence Day.
Brave something for Braveheart.
Oh, I was talking about the one from Independence Day.
Well, either way, it's like we'll die. Like this is our speech to prepare you to die. This is a speech to prepare you to live.
From Attack on Titan, the guy's like, "You will all die. Let's go." Only he could convince someone.
Some of you will die.
Oh yeah, Farquaad too.
But that's a sacrifice. I'm really.
So he straight up says, "I want everyone to come back alive tomorrow. Everyone needs to come back alive."
Everyone does. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler. They do all. It's awesome.
They want the kid, like they're walking out of that, and the kid who broke he broke his arm during the boat ride thing.
Yeah.
But they're like, you got a broken arm. You're not going to be very much help to us. And he's like, I didn't get to fight in the war. Let me help with something.
Yeah. And they're like, no, you're going to be our. They don't tell him, but as they're walking away, like, you're going to be the future kid.
Yeah.
Like, stay here.
We're giving this to you.
Yeah, because they don't actually believe they're going to live, but they're saying we're going to live.
They hope so, but like, I mean, it's Godzilla. Like nothing's going to stop. Nothing's going to stop them.
So the day happens. The big day.
The big day.
And everything's going good.
Yeah, Shikishima leaves his daughter his quote unquote daughter a ton of money.
Yeah, and the neighbor, a note to the neighbor saying take care of her.
And he doesn't even tell the neighbor or nothing. He just lets the kid go and find the neighbor. It's a really sad scene. And the neighbor too, she comes around, whenever he first comes back, she's crapping on him.
She hates him.
And at this point she's 3 or 4 years on, she's like, oh no, my best friend and neighbor's about to die.
I think she ends up forgiving him only because he has the daughter, and that gave her purpose again because her kids died.
Yeah, so it kind of fills that void a little bit.
Yeah,
she helps him. She gives him rice in the very beginning to help feed the baby.
So we go, and it's really cool. So you've got the first ship that lures Godzilla, and he just shoots it, and that's just to put his laser on cooldown so that they don't kill him.
Isn't that cool? I didn't even thought of that.
Super smart. Yeah, I thought, oh my god, they're just sending the ship to it, and you see the ship is rigged and stuff.
Yeah.
So the other two are circling him to put those flotation devices on him, and the whole time you've got Shikishima distracting Godzilla,
Dude,
doing all
and
these
this,
things.
like, honestly, super duper nerve wracking that he's like, he's like flying,
so close,
and
dude.
oof, dude, I don't know, and like his tail almost hits him at one point. He gets like really close to his mouth, and there's just like he almost gets him. Dude,
making me nervous. Man, my butt clench. You know,
my pucker and strings are weak on that one.
Yeah, little turd came out of that one. So all that's happening.
Everything's going according to plan, essentially. And then they get the Freon. He goes down.
Oh, he goes down so fast.
Yeah.
And they're watching it like 1,800 feet. Yeah. Reach 1,800 feet kind of thing.
And then it's like a fish on the line. He's just trying to get out.
Yeah, so they float him. He starts rapidly rising, but then he just stops. He had chewed through the flotation device, but he was still connected to
I love that they didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Like maybe do something that's not,
Yeah, it's a flotation. There's not much you can.
Also, it's got to be a quick turnaround too,
Yeah. So they're like, we're just going to have to pull him up. And they're like, sir, we can't. The ships cannot do it. It's like, you need to or we're dead. So they start doing it. And I love so much, right? Because we both watch anime. Anyone who watches anime, there's those anime moments where the hero crests over the hill as a hero comes in, saves the day. So it's just Japanese at this point. It's not even just anime. Same thing happens. You hear on the radio.
It's like shadow facts or something showing up. Like the men of the East have come or the West or whatever the hell.
And the teenage guy shows up with just an armada of tugboats.
It's like like I got flashbacks to the Rise of Skywalker. Like when all the ships come up.
The ships show up.
And there was
the only good part of that movie.
Well, no, I wouldn't say that. I would say this had somewhat like this was so much better of a moment because it felt earned.
Yeah.
Like the other shit didn't feel earned. It was just like a bunch of random action.
Yeah, we're never reviewing those movies.
No, I don't want to do that. Yeah. Just leave them behind.
So he says, "Hey, we're here to help," and they're like, "We love you, man."
Thank God, our thing just stopped right when we need to like pull people up.
So they hooked up all those tugboats to the two ships, and by God,
they persist.
They pulled that up.
That big lizard done hit the surface, boy.
But it didn't kill him.
It didn't kill him. I think
he's frozen. He's got like chop.
Like
a good Chuck Norris judo chop to the neck would stop him.
It's like the air inside of his blood had pressurized or something,
and like frozen at the same time.
Well, it pressurized, and it's just like all like he's just kind of stuck in stasis because it's like how do you heal from that? Yeah. And so he's gearing up to do his laser again. Oh. It's so scary, and like this is the moment where like okay, everything's going to crap. Yeah. Like the characters we love so much, we just spent this hour gushing about to die, and then here comes Shikishima.
And what's crazy, it's quiet. Yeah. Everything's quiet, and then you just
everything's
hear
quiet.
The propeller.
And I felt so much respect for everyone in that theater for not like farting or making a joke or like if that was a lesser movie, that was Avengers. Yeah, they wouldn't have maybe not Avengers, but if that was like Ant-Man 3, for instance, and they tried to do a quiet moment, there would have been no respect for that.
Someone would have said something.
It would have been like, or someone would have said some shit. Nobody in the fucking theater.
The trailer was silent. The movie was silent.
I could hear my fucking breath.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah,
and I was almost like, is someone gonna ruin this for me? They aren't.
It's
just
awesome.
I was like, I'm getting to like be fully enveloped in this moment.
Yeah, and then you hear the propeller, and you look over, and he's flying in.
There he comes.
And it flashes back.
The fucking theme starts back up, bro. Oh,
the guy doesn't want to die. And Tachibana.
Yeah,
it's hard to remember their name.
I'll tell you.
But Tachibana is like, it flashes back. He said, "Hey, look, I put an ejection seat," and he goes, "No, you told me I need to do this." He goes, "No, I was dumb to do that. They're dead. Live for them. Do this. Live for your daughter. Live for these people." So he ejects.
Beautiful moment. It's a beautiful character arc on that guy too.
They get
like
the closure they need with each other, kind of thing. And you see Tachibana is like listening on the radio.
It's like, he ejected.
Military comms. Yeah. So he ejected. And he's like,
oh,
thank you. Like, awesome.
It was such a nice moment. And then the bombs blow up and kill Godzilla.
Yeah,
and then
it literally leaves his head gone. And then the rest of him just crumples.
It's so interesting. There's like this power within him that just like is shooting out. Like there's laser beams just coming out of his body, but like the rest of his flesh just crumbles away.
Oh, so good.
And then he sinks in the ocean, and then it's like the day is won. They win.
So they get back to the beach, or they get back to the docks, and the
here
neighbor,
comes Sumiko with a little telegram and the daughter.
Yeah, and she starts hitting him.
She hits him very like laxly, like
Why would you do that? Why would you do that? You know what I mean?
But she
gives him a telegram.
Gives him a telegram, and then we see him and Akiko go into this hospital in Ginza.
Yeah, and you're like, what?
Ginza.
And he opens the door, and there's Noriko. She's a little bandaged, maybe missing an eye. There was something covering her eye.
That's
and she looks at him and goes, is your war finally over?
I cried so hard,
I looked at
dude.
you. I looked at my girlfriend. Y'all were bawling.
Whenever, like from the point he goes into the monster's mouth,
Yeah.
I started crying, and
And
it
it
didn't
just
turn
didn't
off
stop.
until the movie was over, bro. I'm such a little crybaby for stuff like that.
But she says that, and he also breaks down. He puts Akiko on the bed with her, and then he's just crying in her arms, and she's like, and it was a beautiful
It's beautiful
conclusion.
Yeah, it was
It
perfect.
was awesome. But every movie has to have it.
It was. I respected it wasn't like a fully like after credit sequence.
Yeah.
It was like right at the end of the movie. It
Yeah.
was like we flashed to Godzilla's heart.
Yeah, and you start seeing little things growing
It's
back. and
regenerating, bro.
I kind of didn't want him to come back because I'm like,
He's a mean bloke, eh?
yeah, and I'm just
He's
like,
a bad boy
I'm
in
like,
this one.
these poor people don't just send it to Australia, you know?
Maybe he goes.
Go to
maybe,
Madagascar.
Go to Madagascar. Yeah.
Like, to keep it moving.
Hit old King Julian up. You don't
King
hurt.
Julian! Godzilla's coming for us, King Julian!
Mort, I can't feel my legs. Godzilla stepped on my legs.
Oh, Morty is kicked up, Mort. Do you see that ass?
That ass. Yeah, did you see his foot come down and Mort just like swarms it because he's got some kind of foot fetish?
La 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 la. And you see Godzilla's like, oh, King Julian!
This is the real crossover we need. No more Godzilla and Kong.
Send them
Godzilla and
to
Madagascar. Hell yeah. Anyway, man, that was a beautiful movie, and it was a masterpiece. Like it
Yeah.
really felt like a masterpiece.
It was longer, but you didn't feel it.
We had heard that it was only $15 million to make. Everything in this movie looked good, or
Yeah.
it looked serviceable at the very least.
Yes.
Like I didn't feel like anything was unnaturally put in a frame.
Yeah.
It all looked real. Like how do
Yeah.
you and your
Even the special
girlfriend
effects did not look bad.
your girlfriend made like your girlfriend made the comment. It felt real, or it felt as real as a Godzilla movie could get.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's funny. But then I'm like, you know what? Godzilla and Kong doesn't feel real. It feels like a comic book movie or
Yeah.
like a cartoon.
Yeah.
This felt real. It felt like real people running away from a big monster.
Yeah.
Scary as hell.
It was so stressful. Like, you were stressed out. I was anxious that
Anxious.
whole movie.
And he's like, nothing will stop. Like, he moves through buildings like butter. Like just nothing's
Like butter.
like butter. And nothing's in his way. But yeah, $15 million is what the term.
That's the rumor.
That's what we've seen. I don't know but
I saw something today about someone saying the guy said, "I wish we had that much." But then you kind of get in the tread of the territory of, well, were they underpaid? Because
They
these people
probably
need to
were
be
underpaid.
paid a lot for their
in Japan,
performances.
Japan is notorious for having company employees just like give up their entire life to work on
Yeah,
something.
So
And that probably is the case. I've seen a couple reports of that coming out, but
Yeah.
it's sort of like Nintendo, like like they'll just kill their employees to make Smash Bros. 4, and then like it's the best game ever made. So
Yeah.
it's one of those things. It comes off it comes off worth it. Like
Yeah.
it's good, but also pay your people better.
Yeah.
Give them some off time.
Yeah.
Like people like Amazon. Everyone's all like congratulating Amazon for not like overworking the Invincible team, but they took like 5 years to make the new
Yeah.
season. So maybe give and take. I don't know.
it's also like, you overwork everyone else. Maybe overwork them. So I can see my Invincible show.
Another part of that too is that Seth Rogen was heavily criticized for overworking his folks on Sausage Party.
Really?
So I think.
Really?
Oh yeah.
For that movie?
Dude, there was a big scandal about it. Like he was in trouble. I mean, not in trouble. I mean, it went away pretty quick because people like Seth Rogen. But like all the animators went through a crappy time doing that, and they all like
Really?
put in all this crunch time and stuff.
Just so scarred by that ending.
Honestly, like that's what anyone remembers about the movie is the
And I think he
weird
knew
sex
that. It
ending.
was like, at the end of the day,
It was almost
It's
like a
memorable.
reverse of like how most animated movies have like a dance scene.
yeah.
We're gonna have an orgy instead.
Like, without that scene, you don't remember Sausage Party.
I remembered it. I thought it was like
You only remember because I'm telling you, take that out of our minds.
No, I remember it. I was very critical of it when it came out.
I'm talking about right now. We would not be talking about it.
Oh, you're right. You're right. It would have gone away.
Yeah.
If they didn't say f and they didn't f,
Yeah.
it would have went away.
Yeah. So, but neither here nor there. This movie almost is on par with Sausage Party critically.
It depends.
Yeah.
I mean, you could say that, I guess, but you'd really have to really dig in and,
Yeah.
and critically examine both of those pieces of work.
But no, phenomenal movie. I encourage every single one of you.
Go see it in theaters too,
Yes,
because
it's 100% worth
I don't
it.
think it'll hit the same in a home.
Don't buy the
screening.
snacks. We paid $30
What the hell?
for
Yeah,
a large popcorn and 2 drinks
and candy.
and candy.
Yeah.
They're smart too. They didn't put the prices for any of these combos. They just have the combos on there.
It's a
You're
shame.
just supposed to say you want that combo. That's neither here nor there.
It-
Watch the
it's-
movie in the theaters.
Yeah, honestly, if I could, I don't usually recommend IMAX, but like maybe IMAX would be really
Yeah.
good for this. I really like
10
it.
out of 10.
Honestly, like like sometimes Japan can do their own things
Yeah.
better than America. I mean, obviously, but like Hollywood's not always the best place to take your movie.
Yeah.
I guess
Most of the time, like most people know Hollywood is like the movie of the
the
week.
action blockbusters.
But then some.
But something like this comes out, and you're like, well, maybe we should be investing more in what Japan's doing.
Yeah,
because
they're
holy
doing
crap.
something that was phenomenal. So, at the end of the day, that's what we think. Let us know what you think in the comments down below. Once again, don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, hit that notification bell.
What's your favorite Godzilla movie past this one? I'm a big Godzilla
comment
fan,
question.
so
Comment question.
comment question of the day. What's your favorite Godzilla past -1?
Yeah.
Anything before
Yeah.
this
You
came
can
out?
say any of the Japanese ones,
There's been a ton of Japanese
the American
iterations.
Ones, so there's a few animated ones on like Netflix we've seen.
There's a Hanna-Barbera cartoon.
Yeah.
You like that one? No one likes that one.
Someone's
Someone's favorite show,
for
probably.
everything, yeah. But yeah,
All right. Well,
stay tuned. We got some more stuff coming to the channel. But until then.
dump it to Crumpet.